golden gecko? Greed is good? That gave Wall Street a bad image for a generation, and it's still with us. Our next guest is an unapologetic Wall Street promoter who started a group looking to restore pride in Wall Street. Here he is, Thomas Belesis. Belesis, I'm sorry, Belesis, correct, yes. I gotcha. He runs one of those wicked hedge funds. He's the Chief Executive Officer of John Thomas Financial. He's with us today.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning. Welcome.
Welcome.
Okay, which argument are you making, one of the two? Number one, that Wall Street wasn't to blame for the mess in the first place. Or, two, bashing Wall Street now will not make things better. What's your argument?
Both. Let me first start where Washington is right in their perception of Wall Street. New regulation is absolutely necessary in preventing the type of risk trading that's occurred in the marketplace.
So it was their fault?
You know, they had the few banks that had a big, as I would say, part in this catastrophe are at fault, yes. The greed of leverage, the betting the farm type of trading absolutely cannot go on. You know, putting conservative assets at risk the way they did is an absolute no-no.
So you're prepared to take some of the blame, but you want a voice in how to reshape Wall Street for the future?
Absolutely. I mean, you know, having huge divisions of banks now made huge bets out there that can bring down an entire company is absolutely a no-no. I mean, you cannot put depositors' conservative money at risk. That
right now you sound like President Obama. What don't you like about what's going on in Washington?
That's where they're going right with their message. Let me tell you where they're going wrong. To demonize Wall Street as the devil, I mean, let's call it how it is. Wall Street has been an economic engine that's fueled our very well-being. Let's all agree on that. Number two, you also have to understand that it's played a vital role in the free enterprise system. I mean, we've always led in innovation. We are the leaders in biotech, tech, internet, around the world, and people have modeled what we've done from that.
So, you don't like the demonizing, and President Obama has engaged in demonizing.
Sure.
You don't like that, okay? You don't like that image presentation. But you do like the idea of the big banks no longer being allowed to invest in risky hedge fund type activity. You okay with that?
Absolutely. It has to be regulated. There cannot be, you know, huge bets made with conservative assets. It can't go on.
But that just benefits hedge funds, because the money's going to leave the big banks and come to the hedge funds. He's also proposing taxing hedge funds at ordinary income tax rates. So he can't be on board with that.
Yeah, you're not a bank, you're a hedge fund. It's in your interest.
Well, we're a financial services company, okay? But let me put it to you this way. On the flip side, you cannot tax banks in an economy right now that needs to get up and going. It's not going to work. I mean, it's going to hurt everyone in the long run, and it's going to hurt the profitability of banks. So to tax banks right now when we need them to start lending to small businesses is not the answer.
Here's the irony of what you're saying. Just over the weekend, the G7 said, we are going to do this. We are going to tax banks. And you know what? We're going to do it together. So the threat of you saying, well, if you do it to me, I'll move to the UK or, you know, or I'll move to France. They're trying to box the industry in. It's going to happen.
One more issue, taxing bonuses, okay? Are you in favor of that or no?
No, I mean...
okay, all right. How about taxing your income? You're a hedge fund. If I'm not mistaken, your income from a hedge fund is taxed at the maximum capital gains tax rate, 15%.
Correct.
They want to change that and make you pay it as ordinary income tax, maybe 39%. What do you say about that?
Listen, it's counterproductive. It's not going to help the economy get back on track.
But then what regulations are you proposing that are good for this?
Listen, like I said, I think the regulations that need to happen is to make sure banks don't have the ability to make outrageous bets with conservative assets. That's what I believe will prevent a catastrophe again from happening like we just saw.
Real quick here, Thomas. Didn't we have regulation before and it just didn't work? What makes you think it's going to work now moving forward? I mean, don't you think the banks are going to be one step ahead of the regulators?
No, I mean, listen, I mean, Wall Street has made mistakes, yes. And I think everyone has learned from the mistakes. We've always been a country to focus on the solution, not the problem. And I think that's why people, you know, at the same time, they want to criticize us around the world, but they also want to emulate us. We need to focus on the solution. That's to make sure regulations in place, not
from a public relations point of view, you think Wall Street should be quiet, or should they be coming out like you and voicing opposition to this?
You know, I think Wall Street needs to voice its opinion to let people know that, listen, yes, we've made mistakes, but let's not demonize it and call it the devil.
Wall Street needs to let Main Street know how important it really is to everyday lives.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
What do you think, everybody? You can join us on the company. You can email us at varney@foxbusiness.com. We want to know exactly what... He's back. After being ousted as CEO of Merrill Lynch last year, John Thain has been named chairman and CEO of small business lender CIT Group. Thomas Belesis, CEO of John Thomas Financial, still with us. This is the man who did a $1.2 million office renovation. He was fired by Bank of America from his position at Merrill Lynch. He's kind of a poster boy for all that you're defending about Wall Street as being bad.
Sure.
Should he get his job back?
I do. I think he should. I mean, CIT, almost collapsing back in 2009 from the subprime, and now having a gentleman like John Thain coming in there with a track record, president of Goldman Sachs, former CEO of Merrill Lynch. He did do well when things were going well at Merrill Lynch, and I think it's a plus for CIT. I do.
So you're saying that he is a very good executive brought down by his public image. And it's the public image of Wall Street that you don't like, its bad image, and you're trying to restore it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Any comment?
I think this is his penance. And he can't screw this up. He is coming out to save face for himself. He's a good executive. He's done well over the years. He just made a grave mistake buying a $30,000 rug, which he has since come out and paid for out of his own pocket. This is his opportunity to save face, especially with the small business people of the world. He has to do this, or his career is done.
Well, Charles, didn't he destroy shareholder value by hiding what was going on at Merrill Lynch and ultimately shareholder value at Bank of America? Isn't that what a CEO is exactly not supposed to do?
Well, you can argue that, although I would say he if you want to put it in his street parlance, he might have gotten over on the deal for shareholders.
Yeah, so he deserves a pat on the back.
Yeah, I mean, you're a shareholder and you get $29 for something that maybe would have gone for $10 a week later.
Yeah. But Thomas, you want him to succeed because CIT is a very important company. It's a huge lender to small businesses.
Absolutely. And with a guy like this with a track record, listen, he's made some mistakes, yes, but with the type of track record that he has, it can only help CIT. And I think it's a very positive sign going forward.
Let's see if it's helping the stock this morning. On the floor of the New York Exchange, Sandra Smith, CIT, yeah, it trades. What's it doing today, Sandra?
Oh, it sure does, Stuart, and it's actually higher by more than 3% out of the gate this morning in the pre-market. Oh, now it's up about 5%, so building on its earlier gains. But remember, Stuart, I mean, not only was John Thain fired from Bank of America Merrill Lynch, but he was also widely credited for turning that company around before the financial crisis. And not only did he serve as the chairman and CEO at Merrill, but he was also the head of this place, the New York Stock Exchange. So right now, the reaction is that, hey, maybe this gives CIT some hope that John Thain could turn this thing around. And in fact, John Thain said in the CIT statement that came out last night that what attracted him there was CIT as a company. It's very important to small and mid-sized businesses. So maybe he can take and build on some of his expertise from before, maybe try to forget about some of the mistakes that he's made and actually help improve this company and benefit the small and mid-sized businesses in this country. So the reaction is positive here.
Yeah, it is indeed. I mean, a 4.8% rise for CIT. Would you buy it, Thomas?
I think this is a turning point for CIT. I do.
Okay.
Yes.
That's important. A very important company. They lend to about, what, 3,000 or 2,000 retailers?
Absolutely, yes.
Big deal.
Yeah.
Thomas, thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Come and defend Wall Street any day you like.
Will do.
We want to know we're overall so that people feel like you're really,
Sure.
Plus, I don't like anyone outdressing me on this.
Yeah, he does look good, doesn't he? All right, next case.